you doing today? I'm Louis Armstrong. I'm an author of 2 books. We got a 3rd one on the way. I'm going to talk about this one today. There's a lot of lectures I got to give out of this one. This one is called Judgment of America. It was written in 2006. And this one is Black Nostradamus Prophecy of American Future, and it was written around 2009. These are 2 very good books. I'd like you to purchase it. You could go on Amazon and order it right away. Barnes & Noble, you can order it. Many others. Just look for Louis Jerome Armstrong author, and it'll pull the books up for you. And that way you can see it. And make sure that it's L-E-W-I-S, because you'll see Louis Armstrong, L-O-U-I-S, a lot of times when you pull that up. So make sure you put Louis, L-E-W-I-S, Jerome Armstrong in. It'll come straight up for you. You'll see both books. I'd like to talk today on the 3rd part, another part of this revelation that's dealing with Assyria and America. It is a sign that's very important. It's for America to know at this time. This revelation, although the book was written out in 2006, I have what you call a spot, like another one I showed Barack Obama's spot. And a certain spot, you have a responsibility in that spot to do the things that you was created, you come to the earth to do. And in that spot, those are, and it's an important thing. It's not that you're not here to take care of your family, etc., but this is your divine calling, your divine purpose. And in that spot, this is the year for me to step out and teach the things that I have learned through all the years that God have blessed me with the knowledge that I have. This is my year. This is my time. This year and other years that I'm sparking. And I will get into that. I'm going to show individuals, as I show Barack Obama's spot, I'm going to show my spot as well. But I'll do that at a later date. The main thing right now is to give this revelation of the sign of Assyria and America, because we're at a critical time of our nation's history that we need to know this. This is no joking time right now. This is time more critical than World War I and World War II. More critical than the Great Depression. You may not see it now, but you will see it in the very near future. Now, what am I saying? I'm not saying this to scare anyone. This is not fear tactic. This is not, God ain't about trying to give you the fear tactic. God is about saving you, keeping you out of a condition that you could go into. And what it's doing, it's like intuitive mind. Let's use the intuitive mind. Sometimes we have a hunch, and our hunch say, well, don't drive down that road. It say you're in a quiet voice. So you say, don't drive down that road, because that's not the way you need to go. And you say, okay, no, I'm going to turn and go the other way. You never see what's going to happen. But then you disobey that voice, and you go down that road, and boom, all of a sudden, ran over something and it caused your radiator to leak or something. Now you got a whole week of trying to get this right, and you saying to yourself, darn, I should have listened to my intuitive mind. This is the same thing. When your intuitive mind or that higher consciousness is talking to you, it's time to listen. Now, it's very difficult to pick this up sometimes. You can't always say, well, that's my intuitive mind, I'm going to go this way now. No, sometimes it's self. But we got to understand which one is intuitive, and that it comes through practice. Building your consciousness, meditating, etc. Because it works for everybody. Everybody can say, some individual could say in their mind, every individual could say in their mind, darn, I should have did that, but I did that. And that's very important. Now, the sign of Assyria in America has come from the Bible. The Bible is written, and most people say, well, it's for the Christians. The Bible is an esoteric writing. The Bible got things that's captured inside it. It's like magic when you know how to translate the esoteric writing and the allegories. It's like magic. You begin to see the divine will of God, or divine providence work. And you begin to say, wait a minute, this book is not just like a regular textbook. This book is alive. And most people can't see that because they literally read and study the Bible. You cannot literally read and study the Bible. It's like no other book you ever seen. But if you get in your mind, I could study this Bible, I could go and do this and I can do that. Whoa, you may be doing it, but you're doing it on the relative, not absolute. There's a difference between relative truth and absolute. Most of the institution, the biblical institution and stuff, things they're teaching in the relative sense. Oh, come on, mama, grandmama said you look like a preacher, so I'm going to be a preacher. Or so-and-so say, you'll make a good pastor. And I'm going to be a pastor, etc. But how I say, many are called, few are chosen. Yeah, in this day and time, you got a lot of people called. They got churches. Churches are business. What you got with a church? A church is not what it was in the long years ago I was sought up. The term worship came from the term workshop. And the people, when they went to worship, they went to work for that God, to do the things that God demanded you to do. So when you went in there, if the high priest had you to do this, do that, go in the community, do this and that, it wasn't about in there saying, oh God, bless me and give me this, me, that. I want this blessing from God, and somehow I'm going to give this $500 so this preacher, this prophet in this church will come to this church, will pray over me, so my whole life can change, everything, this and that and that. Whoa, that's a gimmick there. We got to get out of the gimmicks. Because I know a lot of people have big dreams and wishes, and say, well, darn, I want to get this home. I know God going to give me this big old house. Now, sometimes God do give it to you. But sometimes you look for a house outside your means, and then you wonder, well, God, I thought you were going to give it. And then you get disappointed in God. You don't get disappointed in God. God's going to give you things within your arena. And at that time, when you get in the arena, boom, that's it. Something happened that you can't afford it. Like, for instance, these days and times, some trickery got into it. You had the political arena and the banking system mess you up. That ain't your fault. It ain't that you got something that was too big for you. At the time, you got something that was right for you. But then you got to understand the carrying your cross and the other lecture I give. How if your political ain't right, and your banking ain't right, and they doing trickery to your community, then it's not your fault. It's the system fault, and the system supposed to be governed by God's people. So what's happening, the preacher got to get his act together. He got to understand that your morals, coming into church is fine, but you got to have the job to do outside in your community. If your community got poverty in it and you sitting there and you riding in a big Cadillac, which is all right for a preacher to ride in, you got a big Cadillac, you in the gated community, you ain't no kind of community in your where your parishioners at, your environment at, but then you way over there and you ain't much related to your community. You have nothing to do with your community. But you out there getting the money and saying, well, God's gonna bless you if you do this and that. These things got to change. I don't want to wean way away from the lecture, but I'm saying that truthism is very important, and we need to understand this revelation because we're in a time of Jonah now. We're in a time that America is in this situation where God, revelation for America, is to shine on the people so the people could see God's will. Like Jonah went there because the peoples had worth, they got bad, and God was dissatisfied with them. Well, right now, from the way that this revelation shows, God is dissatisfied with America and its leadership, and we need to do better for the peoples of God. Now, in it, we left off talking about, in the other lecture, we left off talking about Assyria in America. We was talking about how the different leaders in Nineveh, they name match up with the mayors and etc. I mean, all that. We got to have that. Right now, we're going to deal with another part of it, that chapter. And this is found in Luke 11. We're going to deal with Luke 11. This is from Luke 11:30 all the way to around 52. But this is important because most people, they look at the Bible and they think about Christianity alone. The Bible is for all of God's people. See, if you don't go into church and you don't want to go into church, you do what you want to do, but you need to start studying this Bible and let God give you some insight in this book. It's very important. This book is for everybody. This book is not just for somebody who wants to say, well, I'm a Christian. Oh, you ain't no Christian, then you ain't with God. Oh, come on. This book, because all of us must remember this one thing. We are spiritual beings that come to this planet, this dimension, third, fourth dimension, taking on a physical body to have a physical experience. All of us, every last one of us is going through that. Every last one of us have in our intuitive a Christ consciousness that need to resurrect itself into our higher self, that we could be able to have a balance and be the people we need to be. Christ is in all of us. Christ is the truth. Christ is the light. Christ is all. And God put that spark in every human being. Now, whether we bring it out or not, that's a different thing. And we have to make ourselves subject to the Word of God, the Word of truth. That's what the Word of God is, the Word of truth, truthism, in order to live that life or understand that life as we live it, so we could be able to radiate ourselves into Christ consciousness. And that's what we are here for. We're to come into the Christ consciousness, that we won't live that life, that cycle, coming back and forth, back and forth. And this is where, and I read on the other part what Socrates said about the salvation of the soul. Now, this revelation, if you really look at it, you'll see that Nineveh, Assyria, America, Jacksonville, all this is from a political perspective as well. You got the social part in there, but you're going to see a lot of the political perspective. So when you're dealing with that, when you're reading this book, you're going to see a lot to deal with politics. Now, the reason I say that is because I want to get into this part. I want to read this. In Luke 11:30, it says, "For as Nineveh was assigned unto the Ninevites, so shall also the Son of Man be to this generation. For the queen of the south shall rise up in the judgment with the men of this generation, and shall condemn them. For she came from the utmost part of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon, and behold, a greater than Solomon is here. The men of Nineveh shall rise up in the judgment with this generation, and shall condemn it. For they repented at the preaching of Jonah, and behold, a greater than Jonah is here." Now, this is all political. Men of Nineveh repenting, the queen of the south, Saudi Arabia. That's what they're talking about in the Bible prophecy. And you can see that. But this is a key. This is about America. No man, that's the citizen, individuals. No man, when he have lighted a candle, this is esoteric. When he have lighted a candle and put it in a secret place, now say, no man, when he have lighted a candle, putteth it in a secret place, nor under a bushel. It's very important to hear that word, bushel. But on a candlestick, that they which come in may see the light. For the light of the body is the eye. Therefore, when thy eye is single, thy whole body also is full of light. But when thy eye is evil, the body also is full of darkness. Now, I want to get you to listen to that. Now, we'll deal with the esoteric. Now, this is political. Now, what is it talking about the eye and the body and the candlestick and all that? Now, the queen of the south is Saudi Arabia. Now, when we begin to see this, there should be some problems that dealing with the area of Saudi Arabia. Now, later, etc. Let's deal with this. The men of Nineveh, we're dealing with Iraq. Now, coming confrontation in the judgment. Now, most people don't know that America is in a judgment. It's in a 21-year judgment. But most people don't have the idea, and I'm going to teach that at a different lecture. But we're going to deal with it. The queen of the south, and what we're dealing with, in the judgment cover from 2000 all the way into around 2017, 2018. And then that part is very important. Then we got a 3-year period to go to around the end of 2020, 2020, about the beginning of 2021, but right before 2021. But that will be covered on another lecture. Now, when we look at it, at the time we're in right now, let's deal from 2000 this way. When we had the 9/11 thing, who we put it on? Terrorists from the area, first put it on terrorists from the area of Saudi Arabia, etc. You hear the news and Throw the newsreel back on it, then you can see it. The men's of Nineveh. Then we had this war in Iraq. Yeah, we had this war in Iraq. Okay, the men's of Nineveh, talking about Iraq. Now, we see that flaring up at what? This time. This, what we call the judgment time. These days coming up to the end of the age of Pisces, of the dark age. Now, when you deal with, when the scripture talk about the light, the candle, the candlestick, you're dealing with, and you get a Jewish candles, you're going to see 7 lights. That stands for the 7 chakras. Now, why is the chakras, 7 chakras in this light is important? It's dealing with you yourself. No man, when he lighted a candle. That means, what's the candle represent? It's representing you, your chakras. You have 7 chakras. Now, when you light that, that means when you got 7 chakras, boom, you are really you vibrating. That means you're in a conscious state. You are reaching that divine conscious state where truth, or what we call the hunches, is radiating all the time, that they become a reality. You begin to see truth more and more and more. That's why it's important to do meditation. That's why it's important to understand your body. Understand thyself. Man, know thyself. Now, it also talk about the secret place. What's the secret place all about? The secret place is the secret society. Now, why is that very important? And to deal with bushel. When I seen the word bushel, I said, damn, what bushel got to do with politics at this time that we're in? I kept saying, what does it got to do with American politics? Then I said something, a hunch came to me and said, in the Bible, it shows a bushel wheat, a bushel barley. But this is a bushel and it don't say what it is. So common sense is a part of this as well. So common sense said, look inside the bushel. You will know what's inside the bushel. So look inside the word and you'll know the political name that is trying to show in the word. Bush. Darn, I said, wow, that's unique. I said, because President Bush came into the time of the judgment. President Bush had something to do with this conflict that they're dealing with in Saudi Arabia, or talk about Saudi Arabia, but the one in Iraq. What did he do? He brought a war to Iraq. And I never forget something I was saying. On the radio show, I said, you know, I knew this, so I knew. So I said, you know, I don't care what the weapon inspector said. The weapon inspector was saying there's nothing, Iraq don't show any mass destruction, no weapons of mass destruction, et cetera, that Bush was saying. It was opposition. I said, on the air, in a military town, without realizing where I was, I said, I don't care what the weapon inspectors say, Bush is going to war with Iraq. Now, when you say stuff, you want to tell the truth, but you got to remember where you at telling the truth. Now, if you get on there and you saying it with no conviction, you saying that this is going to happen, and you're in a military town, now they checking you out, find out who going to leak this stuff to this man, because we going to war with Iraq, but we don't want the American public to know it right now, but we're going to war. And they kept it here for the American public. But I want to ask saying, you're going to war with Iraq. Bush is going to war with Iraq. And that happened. So from that, I had a certain experience, and I don't want to go into that in this program, but I'm sure. Once you begin to know stuff like this, the government go get interest in how you know how to put stuff together. Okay. And I'll go further than that at a different day, but not now. Now, we know that Bush is part of the prophecy. So by me knowing that Bush was part of the prophecy, and he got a term in the judgment, he's going to have 4 years. I mean, he's going to have 8 years. Ain't no way in the world you're going to just give him 4 years. And he's a part of this, in this cycle. So when I wrote a letter, and it's in the back of the book, it's in the back of this book, I wrote a letter to Bush, and it was sort of like this. I wrote to Bush and showed him that he was in Bible prophecy, but I wouldn't say all the details of it. But then I wrote something like this. President, after your next term, Now, what is that saying to the president? Okay, this came in 2006. Okay, the book came out in 2006, but this letter was written in, let's deal with the letter. The letter was written in 2003. So I'm so sure about what I see that I had the audacity to say, you know, government came up to me and slapped somebody around. They do it a certain way. I won't get into that. But I wrote this, and 2003, September 24, 2003, dear Mr. President. Now, when I wrote this letter, I wrote in it, and you get the book, you can read the whole letter. President, after your next term. Now, what is I'm saying to the president? I know this mythology. You're going to have a second term. Then I say, your brother in Florida, which was Governor Bush, may be president. I would never say will be. Now, I can say what I want to say now. You don't tell a president in his family, you know, you don't tell a president, your brother ain't going to be president of the United States. You don't tell him that. You just leave that out and just say maybe, you know, leave it alone. But you will have a second term. The reason I said that you'll have a second term, because on page 127, 26, it was shown. Oh, 127, I wrote, and something I translated from Nostradamus. Nostradamus goes on to say he will appear as a king to many people. Then I said this, could Nostradamus be saying that there would be a powerful black president in the near future? I knew that you were going to have a black president in the near future. So I knew that behind President Bush was going to come a black president, because you have to fulfill the scripture, the mythology. So there was no room for his brother to be president in that. And so that's where my head was at when I wrote the letter, so you'll know. So, you know, and that's what we have to understand. But as we go on, we'll begin to see that the Bible, God already seen in his word, seen America. And he had these individuals that wrote this. It wasn't God wrote this. God inspired divine people that he done put a divine presence on, literary scholars, in order to compile this to get it down to us. And we get it today. So we got to thank God for all of his soldiers, all of the people that he done sparked and made sure we got this. Under all kind of oppositions, under kings, etc., they still sneak the truth within the word of God for us to have it today. And that's what's so good about the literary writers. We got to be able to know some of them, like Josephus. Yes, he wrote some things that, and he got to be a turncoat and etc. But when you really look at some of Josephus' writing, of the people who were around Josephus, they stuck truth inside that stuff. They satisfied the kings and the Caesars and stuff, but they stuck truth inside that because they know that there's a genre known as Hebrew typology, and that type of person, is going to get this, and they're going to be able to bring truth out. So you know, you could deceive someone so long, but like I say, you know, you could do something. It's a term they use. What don't come out in the wash will come out in the rinse. So you go do it all you want, but the truth gonna come out. So that's how, and they understood that. Now, in this, you're gonna see they're gonna talk about the Queen of the South, Nineveh. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna deal with America and him. When say no man, when he lighteth a candle, put it in a secret place. Now, when you come in the knowledge of things, this is all it's saying. When you come into the knowledge of things. When you come into the knowledge of truth, when you come into the knowledge of truth, say no man. And I always say no man. Remember, it's about people, not just males. No man, woman, and man. So it ain't about man alone, woman, and man. So when they use that term, no man, it's very important to understand. They say no man, when he have light a candle, put it in a secret place. Now notice this. Secret place, neither under a bushel. Now, we have been established with secret societies in America. You have the Freemasons who established this, put this nation together, etc. So we begin to see the secret societies is in this nation. Bush is a part of a secret society as well. So we must see this too. Now, in this, you're going to see things in Genesis that leads to this time. You're going to see Romans 11, 25 through 27 that talks about this time. You see Luke 11, 31 through 32 talk about this time. And you'll see Luke 11, 32 that deal with Bush this time. But what we need to see is that this is something that deals with America. America have secret societies. And these secret societies have to do the right thing for America and its people. This secret society must pass laws that don't let companies overshadow the will of the people. It talk about the light of the body is the eye. When it's single, you talk about on the back of the dollar bill, you can see the eye and what it represents when you begin to translate it. The eye of Horus, as they talk, the eye of Horus deal with your pineal gland. It deals with you being able to see with your third eye and being able to see things clearly, your spiritual sight. And we have to understand this. When it's single, when man's consciousness is one, when all of us are pulling together as one, we can be able to do the right thing and make the right decision that there don't be crime in our nation. We can make the right decision that there don't be homelessness. We can make the right decision that people have their home and don't lose their property or whatever under this condition that we've been facing for the last almost 16 years. This is very important. We got to make right decisions. If you're going to be a part of a secret order, you need to do the right thing. You need to do what you need to do. Bush, them, we know that family been pushing the New World Order. Is this the order in which God wants, or this the order in which the banking community wants? Or the sacred orders who have put themselves in to manipulate things toward their benefit and the benefit of the corporation, not the benefit of the masses of the people? America, people must come from out of this involuntary slavery that they have placed themselves into by their consent. Everybody is ruling you by consent. You have the right to choose whether you want people to rule you any kind of way. So it's very important to do the right thing. It's very important to understand the revelations. Understand this. This is a revelation. This is for America. This is for the world to see America. So we need to do the right thing. The church need to be teaching this. They don't need to be teaching all that other stuff. They need to be teaching stuff like this. This is what you need to be teaching. You don't need that prosperity gospel right now. You need a gospel to tell people where God is taking them, where they at and where God desires to take them. We need to come out of the Noah syndrome. We need to come out of the Lot syndrome. Our America's tied up in the Lot thing so bad it's ridiculous. And don't get me wrong, you can do what you want to do. You got culture to do what you want to do, but I really don't want to see a man kiss another man on television. I really don't. Keep that in the closet. Go do it somewhere else. I don't want to see it on television where this woman talking about this is her wife and etc. I don't want to see that. You know, if you want to do what you want to do, do it. But don't force that on the people. Then who forces it on the people? It ain't the regular citizens. It's these people that running the show. It ain't the regular people wearing the baggy pants. I mean, or having the money to produce and manufacture the baggy pants and all this other nonsense. It's the people that's in power. It's that 1% and that 10%. They're taking the people to 90% of the sheep and doing them any kind of way. And we need a better America. It's our political responsibility as individuals to have a better America. It's time for us to carry our cross. I enjoy giving you these lectures because I feel that God is here with me doing this. So I'm going to say it. I can always like to say it even when I had a radio show. May God bless you, and we love you, and have a blessed day.